Alright, so pattern pieces are pretty straightforward. Most of them will come looking something like this, and you'll just cut them out following the lines along here. They'll generally tell you what thickness of foam you're going to want to use for them. And for example, this one tells you this is the center for this pattern. Also, some of them will have registry marks, or what are sometimes referred to as darts, and these are used later when lining up pieces together, the finished foam pieces together, when you're gluing it all together. So those little triangles will actually be cut out of the pattern, so you can mark those onto the foam itself also. So don't worry about making sense of the registry marks right now if they don't make sense to you at the moment. I'll be covering those later, so that will make more sense. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this guy out so we can use it as a pattern and lay it on the foam. Alright, so now you see I have the pattern pieces cut out, but I have not cut out the registry marks yet, and I'll do that next. Alright, now you can see I have cut out the registry marks, and we are ready to use these guys for placing the pattern down onto the foam. Now after I've placed this down onto the foam, I'm going to use pins to hold it in place. You don't need to do this, but it can make things easier so your pattern, you know your pattern isn't going to move around on you when you're actually tracing it out. So now that I have the pattern pinned in place, I'm going to use a felt tip pen to trace the pattern out and mark all the registry marks on the pattern. Since this foam is gray, I'm going to use a black Sharpie. If I was going to be working on black foam, like this stuff here, I would use a silver Sharpie because the black is generally not going to show up. It's going to be tough to see on black foam. Okay, now I have the foam pieces cut out, and you'll see on here, here are the registry marks that I used from the pattern. So these registry marks are going to help when I glue these two pieces together. It'll help line the whole entire thing up so I don't run too long or too short when I'm actually gluing them together, so it'll line up nicely all the way through. Now, one thing that you're going to want to do, especially if you're cutting out multiple pieces at once, it's important to keep track of all your different pieces. So you'll want to label them. This is C1 and this is C2 for chest pattern 1 and chest pattern 2. So I've marked C1 and C2 on these pieces. So the next things to do are to heat form these pieces and glue them together, which will be covered in following tutorials. Thanks for checking out this video. If you'd like to learn more about using foam for costumes and props, click on one of the videos on the right. If you'd like to pick up some patterns to make your own foam armor, click the image on the left.